Alright guys, it's me again. We're getting ready to do another install on the Jeep JK 2015 Willys model behind me. We're going to be putting on the Rugged Ridge Spartacus heavy duty tire carrier. We've got the stock model on that's right now, but we plan to put 35-inch tires. And in order to do that, I at least have to put another bracket on there so that the tire will actually fit. Right now what you see on there is a 32-inch tire, and I am planning to put again a 35-inch tire, and right now there is just simply not enough room. So I will be walking you through the install. Hopefully we get the recording working this time, and we'll be kicking that off. Getting ready to open the box right now. Just got it from Extreme Terrain, and I'll put a link to the specific part that we're going to be installing in the notes. And here are all the parts unboxed. So we've got the hinged carrier itself. You'll see the brackets there at the angle. Those will hook up to the actual new tire carrier, and the adjustable bracket here that allows us to actually mount this on the side of the carrier. You can see that there are holes there that allow the tire carrier to adjust up and down. And then we've got the third brake light mount that will allow us to extend, basically make that brake light a little bit taller so that it'll fit the bigger tires. Also comes with all the hardware here. This one came with instructions, as did the tire carrier, the hinged bracket as well. So we will be putting all of that on. And the first step is going to be starting to take the old one off. So I will walk you through as much of that as I can get on video. Alright, with the tire out of the way, you can see a little bit more about what we're going to replace and why what we bought is a lot stronger than what's there. So we've got these two little rubber bumpers that, again, that just spaces out the tire, lets you tighten it up and gives it something to lean against to keep it nice and snug from swinging around so much. You also see that we've got to take out all of these bolts here to take off the existing tire carrier, which is really just mounted to the tailgate. And you see the wire that runs up to the third brake light. We're going to have to move that and reinstall the brake light once we get going here. And that's really it. Again, you see the existing hinges. The new hinges actually go all the way across, and it'll all look like one unit that's actually bolted together on top of being bolted to the tailgate. So it should be significantly stronger. The instructions do say to go ahead and remove the right bumper, which just pops out. It's just a wedge in there in the hole, and you can just pull that straight out. Just be careful, try not to tear it, because you're going to have to reuse it potentially later, depending on how your install goes. But yeah, go ahead and remove it, and the bolts come out pretty easy out of the tire carrier. And there you have it. Alright, so kind of the idea. I will add that it doesn't really matter what you're installing on the back. If you're taking the real tire carrier off, it's pretty straightforward. Has not been difficult thus far, and we've gotten everything off. None of the bolts were seized or anything like that. Came out actually pretty easily, actually easier than I thought it would. So we'll keep going. Next up is to take these plastic covers off, and then to take the hinges off itself. We've got the door shut now. I will say that you can tell that my tailgate is very dirty, so I'm going to wash that off once we get the covers off here, just to make sure that we've got as much of the dirt off as we can, since we're going to be mounting something permanently over this area. Might as well go and clean it up while we've got it torn apart. Alright, I've got the first piece taken off, and the way you get it off is you really just slide it out this way, flip it over so that you can see. There is a little latch there that hooks into the metal flange element, both on the front and on the back. It's really just these two little clips, show it to you from a different angle, that slide down in the two slots there that hold the plastic piece on. So if you can kind of pop it up from the back, just kind of pop it up from the back and slide it forward, that will get it get it off for you. One more to go. All right, now that looks a lot better. Now you'll notice when I take these hinges off, if you look back here close enough, don't think that it's actually painted back here. That was one of the things that I learned through some reading online, that when you take the hinges off, you're probably going to want to paint them. I don't have any Baja yellow paint, so I'm going to leave them unpainted for now, but I may end up taking these hinges off again. I have to put my tire carrier on because within a day or so I'm going to be having new tires, and I don't have a way to bring them home. But do keep in mind, you're probably going to want some paint to paint under your hinges when you take them off. You'll see that better when I get these hinges off and show you that picture, but just a heads up. It does look a lot better. That's the cleanest that's been in a long time, I assure you. All right, at this point it starts to get serious. Make sure that you keep your tire carrier, or your tailgate, completely closed, because once we take these particular brackets off here, the hinges off, it won't be anything holding this side of the tailgate on, and we want to make sure that we keep it nice and aligned. I will show you a couple of things here. So there's 2 bolts that we need to take off. These are going to be real easy to get to, these 2, and then there's actually 2 bolts here. There is a torque screw here, and then when you flip this around, there's another torque screw on the other side that we have to get to. We have to take both of those out before we can replace them. And that's the same for the top and for the bottom. They all have the same bolt patterns. This is a Torx 50, I believe, and I'll confirm once we get in there. But here we go. All right, so we got the lower bracket undone, and if you see when I open it up, you'll see that it's not painted. You'll also see that I've got actually 3 bolts. There's 2 on this side, and there's 1 on this side that we have to take out, and they all use a Torx T50 Torx bolt, but we will get that apart here shortly. And again, we've got to do the same thing to the top, but we'll get that off and get started on mounting the new one. Alright, so I've got it sitting precariously on the bumper there, but you'll see I've got to put some the factory bolts through here and in these. And this is a pretty heavy item. You look how thick this is. All steel right here. That is a thick piece of steel, and those hinges are very tight. So I am going to try to hold this in place all by my lonesome, and we will see if that works. Otherwise, I will go find help. But we're going to try to get it mounted up there, at least held in place, and then we will bolt all the bolts in and keep getting it. All right, talking about being impressed with the thickness of steel. Look at this. This is all steel. That's solid. This is not hollow, and that sucker is pretty tough to push, which is both good and bad. You put a big tire on it, that'll all be good. But those hinges and at least the metal that's in them, pretty solid stuff. I'm impressed. So we'll get this wrapped up here pretty quick, hopefully. All right, so let me show you just a little bit more about this. That the original, actually, let me go grab the original hinge so that you can see really what that looks like up here against the modified hinge. So the original hinge, of course, on the hinge bracket here, really went that far into the tailgate, and that means the rest of the way to where you see the angled bracket there was just held up by the tailgate structure, the rigidity of the tailgate structure itself. So the new hinge actually goes from the mounting bracket all the way across to the tailgate, to the tire carrier itself. So that's going to give a little bit added strength to the tire carrier, plus a lot more to keep the tailgate from twisting under pressure from off-roading, and just the weight of that additional tire over time. So very pleased with what I see so far. We've got just a few more pieces to put on, and we will have this buttoned up. All right, a couple more things here. I have got the tire carrier bracket installed. The kit does come with bolts for everything except the hinge, the original hinges. You use the original bolts, just 3, or yeah, the original bolts with the Torx heads on them. Then it comes with bolts here, both of those, and on the bottom. And then it comes with bolts for everything else if you buy the whole kit. If you don't buy the whole kit and you just buy the hinge comes with these things here. These are spacers they would go in the corner right here behind this plate and space out the original tire carrier if you were using that. Now I've of course got the entire kit here, so this includes the heavy duty tire carrier, which we're not quite done installing. But the kit, if you're using the original tire carrier and you just want the hinge that enforces this side of the tailgate and gives you the much stronger hinge pins, then you would need these guys to put your original tire carrier back on, primarily because the overlap, which I don't know if you can see, but there's an overlap up here, really right where my finger's pointing, and the overlap allows this flange here to overlap the edges of the hinge. So again, if I can kind of zoom out a little bit, the hinge comes over. It's got two little lips here that these bolts go through. So you would need the same on this side if you were using the original. There's a little bend. Actually, you might be able to see it. I can get the camera up in here. You may be able to see right down there. You see just the little bend in it, and that allows this side to actually, it's already bent to go around. So that is the tire carrier installed on the back. I still have to put the third brake light on, as well as the actual bracket to mount the tire to, and we'll do that next. All right, there she is in all her glory. I apologize, but the wife came out and got me distracted, and I forgot to take a picture of it before we put the wheel back on, but you can see the spare tire there and the third brake light. I did go ahead and measure the original. Again, I'm putting a tire that's going to be about 2 inches taller, so I'm probably going to have to raise that. I do have, if I go over to this side, you can see the cable there just kind of drooped through. If we can get it to focus. Just kind of droop through and run up under the original third brake light, and everything else works really smoothly from best I can tell. I'm very pleased with it. We'll just open it up, and you can kind of see exactly what all the material is there. It looks very, very sturdy. On to the other side, and again, it looks very sturdy. You can see there the lip that goes under it and where you would need the spacer if you left the original tire carrier on it, but it all works. Here's the two set screws. Again, it's kind of hard to see, with the two set screws and the bolts. All of that is tightened up really tight. But you can get in here behind it and move things around as needed. But that is it. Again, I am very pleased with it. It's a solid tire carrier, and I think it will do well for many years to come. Thank you for watching.